All right, welcome back to Currency 365. I think this is my first video of the new year on this channel, and we have 5,000 subscribers, over 5,000 subscribers on this channel. And you guys know my main channel, Currency 365. We're approaching 15,000 subscribers over there. So combined together, we got about 20,000 subscribers. If you add both channels together, not including Facebook and my Currency 365 Facebook page, my personal Facebook page, my Twitter, my Instagram. I mean, my goodness gracious, there's a lot of people that like Eyes Open Media and Currency 365. So I thank you guys for that. And I do it right on this computer, and I can, the good thing about it is that I can talk from anywhere in the world, So yeah, man, that's the good thing about technology, right? You can speak from anywhere in the world. And right now we're going to talk about a topic here. I got 3 videos to do this week for you guys. So this is video number 1, and this is going to be about, as you can see here, who comes first in a man's life. Now, this could be also for women as well, right? It could be who comes first in a woman's life, right? So I seen this around social media, and of course, in my mind, I already knew what majority of the people were going to pick. And the reason why I knew majority of the people were going to pick the daughter, and like a lot of you guys are picking right now, is because I know majority of the people living on this planet are not living according to God's standards, not living according to God's rules. And they're also not living, a lot of people aren't living right? You know what I'm saying? And not saying that we have to be, not saying that people are perfect. No one's perfect. We all make mistakes and stuff like that. But we're in a fallen world, right? So I already know that majority of the people, including some of you guys, I know a lot of you guys probably picked what I'm going to tell you is the right pick, according to God, right? But some of you guys probably picked the little cute daughter, and that is something that is very heartbreaking for a lot of people to accept, okay? Because if you are on Instagram or social media or Facebook or Twitter, you can see the debate going on between the picks of all these choices that you have as a man, and then of course if the woman does it, as a woman, right? And a lot of people, their first explanation, now of course, who comes first in a man's life? Here are the options: the baby mother, which I thought was comical, right? And there is some men that actually put their baby mother before anybody else. There are men that do that, and some men did actually pick their baby mother. So, if your wife is looking at your account, you might want to, you might have some questions about that, right? But anyways. And then some people pick their mom, of course, and then said the mom comes before anybody, and then many people pick the daughter. The most popular choice was the daughter, but the right choice is the wife, right? According to God, right? That is the right choice. Who comes first in a man's life? Okay, and who comes first in a woman's life? It's your wife. It's your husband. That's who comes first. It's not your mom or your dad. It's not your baby mother or baby father. And it's not your children. It is your wife or your husband. Now, many people pick their children because their children to them in their eyes is precious. So I'm not going to sit here and say it's not I'm not going to bash people for picking their children, right? But it's not according to God. That is not God's law for us. And the reason why you don't pick your daughter or your children or your son before your wife is, number one, you never made a covenant with your children. Oh my goodness gracious. Somebody better preach today. Okay? Number one, you've never made a covenant under God in front of the world, in front of your family and friends, with your daughter or your son. You've never made a covenant. You might have told your daughter and your son that I'm going to protect you and I love you and I'm going to be there for you. That's fine and dandy. But that is just you talking to them. You made a promise under God and a covenant with your wife or with your husband, for you ladies. That is a covenant till death do us part. It doesn't mean, and this is when you're saying these words under God, you are saying that God comes first because he is all and all creations, and then your wife or your husband comes next. It doesn't say till death do us children or till children separate us. It doesn't say till death do us mother, and when my mother gets in there and I got to go and help my mother instead of being with my wife or my father, right? It doesn't say death or till death do us baby mother, and she wants me back, No, it says till death do us part. That means I have to honor my wife above everybody else except for God, including my children, right? Including my mom. This is why when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing, right? It's not when he finds children, he finds a good thing. Not when he finds, not when he's hanging with his mama or when he finds a baby mama, but when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing, right? So majority of the people pick daughter because they don't care about God's laws. They are in a fallen world. So everything is, and daughter was the easiest pick because a daughter looks so precious. But guess what? Just like I told one of my friends, I told him, all my friends, you pick your daughter over your wife. But when she's 18, guess who you're kicking out the house? You're going to tell your daughter, go get a husband, go live your life. Your queen, your wife is going to be still in the house. You're not kicking her out, right? She's going to be with you until you die. Because that's what marriage is about, till death do us part. See, a lot of people say, well, what if a marriage doesn't work? We don't come into marriage just for it not to work. Especially if we're obeying God's laws and God is picking the marriage for us and not us picking the one to marry, right? So we don't even think about that. If we're waiting on God to pick us the right person, we don't even think about divorce, right? So because God knows which person we're going to be able to last with for eternity, right? Or at least on this earth together. Okay. So, so when the daughter or the son turns 18, they got to get out the house in most societies. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that. I think, and I should do another video on that because that is a setup. That is a setup from the elites. Because when you look at the elites family, they do not kick their kids out at 18, but they tell society to kick their kids out at 18. The elites do not do that. Even Asians do not do that, right? Mexicans I don't even think Mexicans do that, right? So, but they do tell society to do that, right? When they turn 17, 18, they got to go. That is dangerous in my opinion, but that's going to be another video. So I'm going to write that down for next week's video, and we're going to teach on why kicking your kids out at 17 and 18 is a setup by the enemy. Okay, so we're going to do that. I'm going to write that down, and we're going to make sure I do that video for next week. Okay, so let's go back onto this. So when your kids are 17 and 18, it's time for them to go to college. It's time for them to get out the house and according to society's rules and go do their thing, go find a man and a woman to marry, start their own family, do their own thing. Okay, so you're kicking your kids out. The person that you said comes first in your life, when they turn 18, you're not kicking your wife out, you're not kicking your husband out, but you're kicking your daughter or your son out. What happened to the person that comes first in your life, right? So it doesn't make sense. So basically, your children are first for temporarily. That doesn't make sense. If somebody is first, they're always first. God is first. Right? And he's always first. It's not God first and then like, okay, well, the next 8 years, God, you're going to be second. And this person, I'm going to pick, this video game over here first. Okay. Nah, it doesn't work that way. Right? when something is first in your life, they're always first, because that's what's first, right? So if your children is first, wouldn't your children stay in your house if they're first over your wife, right? I mean, imagine how ridiculous that's going to look if you pick your daughter first and then you kick your daughter out at 18 and your wife's sitting there like, I thought she was first, right? Your queen is sitting there and the queen will have your back for life. When you're on your deathbed, it ain't your children that, most of the time, it's not your children that is next to you. It's your wife, right? And your children are looking from afar at your bed. Your wife has that privilege to come near you, in most families, right? Sometimes, of course, if the wife's not there, the daughter or the son will come close and stuff like that. But usually, if the wife is present with the children, the children stand back, and the wife has the permission to get close to you and talk to you and laugh with you. She has that permission, right? She has that permission, right? While the children get to look on from afar, praying for your recovery, or praying that you make it into heaven as you are on your deathbed, right? So it did, so when I saw this, I wasn't surprised that people picked their children, because children are adorable and precious, but that's only temporarily. They become teenagers that you want to knock out and then and go, and go crazy about, because they sneaking out and doing all types of crazy stuff. Okay. But you got to remember who's going to be with you till the end. Your wife is going to be there, and not your children. Your children might live in other countries when they turn 18, 19, 20. They might go to school abroad. They might move to other states. They're not going to be around you as much when they get older, but your wife's going to be right there by your side. So how are you men picking your children, which is temporarily because they're precious and cute now, until they turn 18, and then you're like, oh my goodness, what animal is this? So so when people are picking, they're picking temporarily, right? Oh, my daughter's so precious. How could I pick my wife over my precious daughter? Right? That's what they're thinking, but they're not realizing when they just rule, bring it back some and actually think who you made a covenant with under God. It doesn't matter if they're my seed and stuff. That does not matter. That doesn't matter. The person you made a covenant with under God till death do you part. Now that matters. Okay. So, and if you didn't think that mattered, then you wouldn't have done it. And if you don't think it mattered, then you need to tell your partner that, I made a mistake. Right? Because till death do us part did not mean death do us part until children arrive. Because if you're going to marry somebody, children are going to arrive. But you still made the covenant with your wife. Right? So, unless you want to say death do us part until the children arrive, baby, then it's going to be children first, then you. What would your wife think about that, right? What would your husband think about that? If, it's death do us part. We're riding together until death do us part, right? That means nobody except God comes before us, and that's how it should be. Now, many people, the second option was the wife. So I'm not gonna say that people got it wrong, but a lot of people picked the daughter. Daughter was number one, and then the wife was number two, and then I think it was the mom, then the baby mother. Okay, so baby mother is definitely last. Okay. Because that's not your wife. That was somebody that you probably just were having fun with, and you had a baby together, right? And now you're stuck dealing with the consequences, child support. We're all going through it right now or been there. Okay, so it's nothing. She's fourth. Okay. So yeah. So and then of course you got the mom third, and then the wife was second, and then the daughter was first, right? But it's the wife. And the wife is the one you made a covenant with under God in front of people too. You didn't do that in front of your daughter or in front of your son or your mom or your baby mother. You never made a covenant. You never had that special day with a covenant till death do us part under God in front of your family members and friends, with your daughter or with your son or with your mother or father or auntie or baby mother. You did that with your wife. And so, most likely, hopefully you meant it. And for those husbands that picked your daughter over your wife, I'm hoping your wife didn't see you do that, because I would be, you would think, what is he doing? You know what I mean? Like, didn't he remember the vows he made? That I come first over anything. So yeah, you might want to, want to have a chat to him about that, ladies, if he's picking the daughter over you. So yeah, because you're the queen. And look, another thing I told one of my friends is that if the king, you pick your daughter, right? So that means that you're going from the top of the pyramid. Let's just use a pyramid for example, because everything is used in this world as in a pyramid, right? So at the top of the pyramid is your wife and is the king and queen. So if you don't love your queen, if you love your children, which are beneath you, more than your queen, doesn't that destroy the pyramid? Doesn't the pyramid fall if you abandon your wife or your wife abandons you for the children? Wouldn't that make the pyramid fall? And that means the empire will fall. Because if a king or a queen leave the empire for any reason, doesn't that empire fall? Doesn't that empire weaken? Can't that empire now be attacked because the king and queen have abandoned each other? So when you're at the top and you don't and if you're strong at the top, guess what? The rest of the pyramid or the rest of the empire is strong, right? When a king and a queen are strong, everything else is strong. And when a father loves his wife or a wife loves his father, guess what? The children see that, right? The children see the love for each other, and they know that these two love each other more than anything in the world, except for God. And the children will do the same, right? With their spouses, with their wives and their future wives and husbands, right? But if you, as a father, say that you love your child more than you love your wife, your daughter will probably tell you, you better go love your wife. Like imagine a father. Let's say your wife is sick in bed, so maybe has a flu or something, and imagine the father comes out downstairs and he's hanging out with the kids and saying, "Yeah, I love you guys more than mommy, so I'm gonna hang out with you guys." I mean, your kids will say, "Man, you better get your butt up there and take care of mommy." you know, So the kids already know. Right? The kids would already know who you're supposed to love more. You're supposed to love your wife more, because without you guys loving each other more, there isn't any harmony in the house. Right? So when the king and queen are united, then the house is strong. But when the king and queen love the children more than each other, then you're going to have chaos. And chaos brings all, basically when you see chaos, it's all every man for himself. That's why you can't love your daughter or your son more than your wife, because as soon as you do that, and as soon as you do that, chaos begins, right? Chaos starts to happen, and when chaos happens, it's every man for himself. But when you love your wife and you show that you love your wife to your children, then harmony in the empire stays strong, right? That's why who comes first in a man's life? It's his wife. Because if a wife comes first, then the empire is strong. The harmony is strong. And the children see that as an example. Right? But if you love your children before your wife, then there's going to be conflict between your wife. Haven't you seen people get married and then the wife divorces the husband because they say that she says that the husband loved the children more than her, and he would always side with the children more than her and stuff like that. That's so when you pick your children, it's going to destroy your entire family. That's why you pick your wife. That's the person you made a covenant with. And so when a covenant is made and it stays strong, then everything around it works in harmony, right? And the empire is strong. So I wanted to make sure, I wanted to get that video out. I seen this on social media, and I knew a lot of people would pick the daughter. But when you step back and see it, and you actually look at God's law, and you just look at common sense as well, and the example that you want to set for your children, you know what I mean? Then you know that your wife comes first. You know what I mean? Because that's where the harmony is at. That's where your joy is at. And that's where the bond is at. That's where the covenant is at. And where the covenant is at, that's when everything around it or beneath it will work in harmony. Okay, so that's what it is. Talk to you guys later. Eyes open. I got 2 more videos to do, and they are going to be just as awesome as this one. Yeah, man, I had some people. I'm not gonna spoil it. It's coming this week. 2 more awesome videos, and it is going to be breathtaking. Peace out. God bless. Talk to you guys later. Eyes open.